Welcome to Aired Out, brought to you by Capitol Showplace Montpelier and Paramount Theater Barrie. At FGBtheaters.com, CW Print and Design in Barrie, at CWPrintDesign.com, Peak Entertainment, PeakDJ.com, Cruise Planners, your land and cruise experts. In Vermont, CruisePlanners.com, Donnybrook Fight Promotions of Williamstown, CBDCrave.com. Presented by CVTV, Public Access Channel 192 and 194, CVTV723.org, Fontaine Forestry and Millworks, Route 14 East Montpelier. Custom orders, rough, kiln dry, plain, tongue and groove, or shiplap. FontaineMillworks.com and Fly on the Wall Productions. Now, let's get aired out.
And a good Friday night. I'm JD Green. Thanks for catching Aired Out, brought to you by Fontaine Forestry and Millworks. Custom cut. Yes, they will do anything you need. Custom orders, rough cut, planed, shiplap, tongue and groove. Fontaine Forestry and Millworks on Route 14, just down from Bragg Farm, one of our presenting sponsors, along with Fly on the Wall Productions and CVTV, Central Vermont Television, Channel 192 and 194. Tony Campos and Abubakar, we thank them so much. I was just telling, Tony and I were just reminiscing the other night about how I was getting ready to basically gut a room in my home to turn into a studio to do this podcast. And literally the night before I was going to start swinging the sledgehammer, I said, hey, maybe I'll call Tony Campos tomorrow and see what's going on over at CVTV to maybe do a podcast over there. So thank you, Tony Campos, for saving me a lot of time and energy and Sawzall blades. I appreciate everything that you have done for me. Great, great people here at CVTV, Channel 192 and 194. Quickly, thanks to Alan Newman and Russ Bennett and Mike Pelcher, who were in with me the last time talking about Camp Mead, Exit 9, right there in Middlesex. They got their Sunday eat-ups. So much fun and so much going on over there. If you haven't been into the Red Hen Bakery right there at Camp Mead, you ought to check it out. It is incredible. Some great upcoming shows. We're going to be talking about organ donating next time around. Yeah, coming up next week with Brandy Jageman. I can't wait to have her in here. Also going to be talking about beekeeping. You know the beekeeper, Zach Sotheby, and I hope I'm saying that name right. He's going to be in here talking about that. Bill Dodge from the Barrytown Police Department, the Community of Vermont Elders, is going to be talking about, cyber safety and identity theft and all kinds of stuff, not just for elders, but for all of us. Project Independence is going to stop by. Capstone Community Action. We have musician Tim Brick, who's going to be making an appearance. Mike Boudreau from the Great Vermont Corn Maze up in Danville is also going to be swinging by, Aired Out. And interesting dude. I can't wait to share that one with you. And what else did I want to say? Oh, Pitts Quattrone. Do you know Pitts? He's an amazing musician, very well-known guy. He just had a heart valve replaced actually the same day, I think it's the same day, or maybe it was the day before, Mick Jagger. But Pitts Quattrone, very well-known didgeridoo player here in Vermont. There's a big, big benefit for him coming up, and we want to make sure everyone is going to be there at the Barrie Opera House. Stay tuned for more info on that, but we hope that there's going to be a fantastic turnout for him. Today we're talking, about a lot of things. Rehab, we're talking about fitness, training, strength training and conditioning, physical therapy. I have with me as guests in the studio this time around on Aired Out from the Rehab Gym, Sarah and Hendrik. Thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
For coming in here. Yeah, man. So Sarah, I think I met you the first time maybe 2 weeks ago at the BNI meet.
Yeah.
And Hendrik, I took one look at him and I was like, wait a second, I know that dude. Where do I know him from? So thankfully you said the Rehab Gym.
Yep.
It was a few years ago. Actually, thinking back, it was probably more like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. It was. Well, you guys were brand new. You had just opened.
We've been open for 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
There
All
you
right.
go.
So I was a little high there. All right. So wow, time flies. I was there. I think there was even some construction going on because it was so new. You had just opened your doors.
Yeah.
Right behind what is it, City Place here in Barre.
Yep.
Right on Main Street. And I went in there, had a meniscus tear. That was my first one. I've since done the other knee, but it's more of a fray, so I've opted for no surgery. But the first one was a full tear, and I have to tell you, you guys, first off, the rehab gym is absolutely amazing. Barre, Williston. Third location?
Colchester.
Colchester. All right. I thought there was another one up somewhere up in there. Yep. You guys are unbelievable. I'm someone who hasn't necessarily been to a lot of rehab stuff. When I first went there after this this tear, I was so discouraged when I heard that it was the ACL, right? Isn't that the ACL, the meniscus, or?
It depends. Could be both. Could be one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was both,
Yeah.
one and the same. But, when the doctor said meniscus, my reaction was like, okay, well, whatever that is. But when I heard him say ACL, it seems like there's a buzzword with that. You hear about, basketball players and skiers, and once they tear the ACL, they're never the same. They're never going to ski again. They're never going to ride horses again, whatever it may be. So I was really, really bummed out. And when I walked through your doors, very reluctantly, discouraged, thinking, how much can really be done with something like this? And it was pre-surgery. So the doc was ordering this before the knife. And I met at the time Aiden Crandall, who was an incredible PT. And I didn't really have a whole lot to say because, I was just super bummed out. And right away, part of the PT, I think at least for the first half an hour, was the restoration of hope, which is part of your job. It's not just
Talk you off the ledge.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
You're not alone in that.
I'm sure you guys, you see this all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
I tore my ACL.
You did?
And I went to see her for it. So yeah.
Yep.
Really?
And like you said, some of those things that you were saying were the idea that maybe it's not going to be the same afterwards, I think is maybe a little bit outdated. So I think that maybe years ago, they might have thought that. But personally, I've run faster 5Ks with my new surgically redone ACL. I've lifted heavier weights, no pain. So with the modern way of treating, that's definitely not something that is true anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? You're the PT.
Absolutely.
So.
You're the PT expert.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was gonna say, when your doctor said go to PT first before we do surgery, that is excellent. We love to hear that, because even if you do end up needing surgery, you're gonna do better afterwards, having had the PT.
Didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that one of your easier cases?
You?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, not like I was probably annoying, but
Well, you can attribure some of it to the training, maybe some
yeah.
of it to the PT.
Now wait a second. Were you working there at the time?
Yeah.
So, and you tore your ACL while you were.
I was playing a recreational men's soccer league and just stepped in a wet hole, and
That's all it takes
and
sometimes.
that's all it took.
Yeah,
So.
that step down.
Yep.
Wow. And then I tore the other one on a dirt bike. Just stepped down. It was the same thing. It was kind of like my foot got jolted up, and that tore whatever, and then the patella or whatever the hell that thing is in there. Then part of the knee, right? Isn't that part of the knee or behind the knee or something like that?
Yeah. There's you can. There's a number of things
There's
you can
a lot of
tear
junk
right
in
in
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just it was really I don't know. I didn't really want to talk about it much, but one of the things that we did was he told me that we had to get in the pool, and I'm like, all right, what are we going to be doing in the pool? And the pool is a rather unique pool. It's not a lap pool.
No, it's definitely an exercise pool, and it's saltwater. So yeah, you don't see that as commonly. One of the reasons we use saltwater, especially for rehab patients like you were doing, is because you get more buoyancy. So when you're starting walking again, or when you're doing training, increasing your exercises or things like that, you don't have as much body weight or gravity pushing down on you.
Yeah.
So when it's a meniscus like that, like you said, you step down, there it goes. That's from gravity and body weight, and usually a twisting maneuver that happens at the same time. When you're in the pool, especially the saltwater pool, you don't have all that risk, so it feels safer.
Yeah, I noticed it right away. It's just amazing, and all of the tools, if you will, the devices that you have that provide resistance in the water.
Yeah, and it's and the one thing you didn't mention was it's a 90-degree pool. So
everybody loves that.
People love that part. But so like like you were saying, like take some of the buoyancy, take some of the body weight off, but people also like the heat can feel good.
Yeah. So what do you do with somebody that comes through your doors with an injury that's a little bummed out and discouraged? So the first thing you do is basically.
Well, we've got really, really nice front desk people that are just gonna make you feel right at home. So that's step one. It's one of the more inviting spaces that you're gonna walk into because of the environment that our admins create
immediately.
Yeah, and then once you start working with your PT, it's like Hendrik said. Our first job is to talk you off the ledge. No matter what you're coming in with, we can do something. We're gonna meet you where you are. And we're just going to start setting those small goals so that you can see that progress as we go along.
Yeah. And one of the things that I was thinking about this morning is, and I know the weather's been crappy, but in the springtime, I would guess, and maybe I'm wrong, that you guys have more work to do in the sense that people like me are not as patient as we should be, and now that the snow has melted, we want to get out and climb Camel's Hump. We love our kayak. We want to do the same kind of paddling that we did. We have a short window of great weather in Vermont throughout the year. So do you guys kind of tell folks this time of year, whoa, horsey?
It depends. We love it when you have goals like that. We want to hear about that. We just want to hear about it a couple of months before you're ready to go out there.
We've been making a big push lately to get those people early enough that we can start to prevent some injuries and not just always have to be helping people get through their injuries. So right now is the time for the skiers to come in and get strong, prep themselves for when skiing starts.
Of course.
The runners, it's a little late for that process. So the runners need to see us 3-4 months ago, and we had tons of them that got really, really, really strong and are running their first 5Ks or half marathons injury-free because of all the work they put in during what they would consider their off-season. So like I said, right now is the off-season for skiing. So don't just wait for skiing to come around and then 2 weeks ahead of time say, what can I do to make sure that I can ski as effectively and injury-free as possible. Now is the time to come do it.
I remember well Aiden saying to me, "This is not a just because you're here is not a free pass. It depends on how badly you want it. You have to be invested in whatever it is, and what that includes is do the stuff I tell you to do." I'm sending you home with homework for your exercises. If we say do it every day for 20 minutes, you really have to do that. Yeah. You have to stop the world and stop whatever it is that you're distracted with and make sure that you're following that protocol.
And the thing that we haven't touched on yet, I'm sure we'll talk about a lot, is that we're also a fully functioning gym.
We need to go down that road.
So
yes.
when Aiden gives you or Sarah or any of our PTs give you that homework, you can still come into our facility between your visits. You're not just limited to twice a week or 3 times a week. You can come in all 6 days that we're open,
do your stuff right there.
And do your stuff right there.
Right.
So we can really try to transition people into, what this is going to look like after you're fully healed, and
of course,
and how to go forward preventing that next one. So.
Yeah. And whatever it is that you're doing, if you're sweating it out, you guys got an amazing locker room. It's so clean and new, and it's just so incredible. Yep. I remember that was one of the things that struck me. I was like, wow, this is like a spa in here. So wintertime, what's the busiest time of year for you guys? Is it winter, do you think, or?
Definitely varies. It ebbs and flows, I would say. So we just kind of had one of our busy times pick up just now, where people who got injured over the winter are now coming out of the cast or out of the walking boot and are ready to start training and working with the PT and getting moving again. So we see a lot of that, and unfortunately we have an awful lot of ice here, so we see a lot of those folks, ankles, knees, the meniscus injuries you're talking about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would imagine. So what sets you guys apart from other physical therapy clinics?
Yeah, I think Hendrik was just kind of headed down that path a little bit. It's the fact that we have people there to help you no matter where you fall on that spectrum of fitness. And we really try to not make you feel when you're in PT like you're in a different world. Like this is medical and it's serious, and you've lost ground because you have to go to PT. That's not what it is. You know, there's one thing that you're seeing your PT for, and we're going to help you get through that, and we're going to help you get stronger so that it doesn't happen again. Right. And then we're going to get you right back to doing what you want to do.
And that was one of the big things, when I first went in there, it was almost like a little bit of an interview. Tell me about yourself. What do you like to do? How much are you going to be using this knee? I love camping. Well, do you go hiking when you're camping? I mean, there's little sub questions like that get to know your client very, very well and find out what's important to them.
Yeah, I think a lot of the that kind of depressed feeling is sometimes when you feel like everything is taken away from you, but that's almost never the case. It's not binary. It's not like you can do everything and then you can't do anything. It's, if you had a lower body injury, we still have a fully functioning gym. You could probably do 2/3 of your program. You can still do all the upper body stuff, and the PTs might be walking you through that missing third for your lower body injuries. So,
right. Isn't that something?
So you can that training can continue, and training and exercise have huge effects on mood and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
So you don't necessarily feel like you've just lost everything. So
what's it when a muscle shrinks? What's that called again? I'm trying to think. Atrophy. Yes, muscular atrophy. That was one of the deals going on with me. Was, and I didn't understand any of this, but that using the leg less or differently, all of a sudden I've lost some muscle tone.
It happens fast too.
That's incredible.
Oh yeah, it's visible. You can see it.
It's visible in a mirror, absolutely. So one of the things that I learned is that by strengthening the muscles around that injury, you're helping the injury. You're helping make the injury function better.
Yeah. We're gonna stabilize everything around that injury, and we'll start that right in PT. We're usually looking up at the joint above and the joint below, wherever that injury is. And we're just going to work on that whole area. We want everything to be as stable and, stable where it needs to be, mobile where it needs to be, and get you ready to get back to activity.
One of the things that I'm facing here in the in the near future is I've got severe arthritis in both of my wrists. For some reason, very isolated. Both of my wrists are just as bad. So I've had the x-rays, and they're basically saying my wrists are like a 90-year-old's wrists. There's nothing in there.
And that's why we have to talk people off the ledge, because of that kind of talk.
Well, here's the thing. Well, of course.
You're going to be okay.
Of course. So here's the thing. I'm in constant pain. It doesn't matter. Sleeping, awake, doesn't matter. And so I started to notice this when I was picking up my baby girl and holding her. And you're bending your wrist upward to hold your child, and it didn't matter which wrist I was using, and there was so much pain. Had the x-rays, they said, not good, and I need to have a proximal row carpectomy, which is they're going to remove 3 bones out of each wrist and kind of fuse it together. So I'm freaking
You're gonna go to PT before you get that
well,
surgery.
that's what I'm. Part of this is I'm getting some free advice here today, and I don't know which one of you can answer that question. But how do you exercise a joint that causes pain while you're exercising it?
Absolutely, and that's where PT comes in big time. Like Hendrik was saying, usually it's just an isolated thing. That's why you need to see that PT. We're going to give you those very specific exercises and figure out, does it need to be more mobile? Does it need to be more stable? What things can we do to start to improve the function there?
Yeah.
There's a lot we can do.
And so you guys also work very closely with the doctors.
Yes.
Have you ever maybe respectfully disagreed with a doctor?
Sure.
In the sense of, hey, man, this guy's beyond PT. He really needs post-surgery PT. Have you ever been in that boat?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think that's why it's so important to really get to know the other providers that you're working with, whether it's primary care, orthopedics, the other physicians, the physicians that refer patients to us. We're in almost constant communication about those people and what the best game plan is going to be for them. So it's really a team effort, and that's the way we want it to be.
What if you get somebody that's so physically active and physically fit? I'm sure you've seen this many times. And they come in and they're just overambitious, pushing it too far, too much.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to tamper down?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Talk about load management and like we've talked about, it's not always necessarily a linear process, we get a lot of people that come in that are extremely fit to begin with, and they might, like myself, like I exercised, I trained, I tore an ACL, I had to take a couple of steps backwards. I had to have people like Sarah tell me, like, all right, maybe don't do some of these things for a little while, you need to, we'll get back to that. And she had to kind of help me with my load management and kind of put me on the right track. And then a couple of months later, I'm now 2.5 years out or something like that. And like I said, I've surpassed all of my previous metrics for how I kind of judge myself. So it's not linear. It's not like a perfectly straight line where every single day it's just going to get better and better and better. But taken on a week, month, year kind of basis, that progress is always going to be generally upwards.
And I think for us, really, education is huge.
Key.
There's those people that we have to talk off the ledge, and then there are the people who just need to understand what's happening. If we can convey that.
Look at this shit that you read on the internet of like, oh my God, if this, if you do this, you got hardware in your ankle, you're never going to be able to whatever.
There's all kinds of misinformation out there. Yeah, we're constantly combating that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people that are self-diagnosing. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's got to be.
Oh yeah, people scare themselves quite a bit by going online and looking. There's all kinds. They always tell you the red flags. They don't tell you.
Right.
Oh, it's probably fine.
And then
you don't hear a lot of the like the success stories in that
No,
sense.
yeah.
Like, well, I personally have hardware in my wrist, and it never bugs me at all.
Really?
So I just don't think you hear as many of those. You only hear the people that like, well, I have pain and I have hardware, and you don't always necessarily hear the flip side of it. So.
Wow. There's an awful lot of stubborn old Vermonters that mechanics, whatever it may be, farmers, whatever, that they may not go home and do their homework, do their exercises, but they're right back turning wrenches or whatever it may be, riding motorcycles, whatever. Can you tell when they come back that A, they haven't done their homework, and B, they're just trying to jump right back into their old lifestyle?
Usually. Still, I have to say, I love my stubborn old Vermonters.
You do?
I'm a Vermonter myself, and very often those folks, that's my family. That's,
You get it.
I get that. So, like I said, we try and meet people where they are. If that's the reality for you, you're going to come see me once a week, and then you're going to go back to your farm and you need to do all your farm chores.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we can do with that.
And one of the things that we've prided ourselves on when it comes to the rehab gym is that sense of community that we've built.
Yes.
And so we do get people who maybe initially when they walk in, they don't see themselves as a person that might be a member of a gym or train. But they're with us for PT for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and they make friends, and they see the other people around them that are doing things that they never thought they would do.
True.
And we've had people who stick around. We have lots of grumpy old Vermonters that are just part of the family now that just never left.
Interesting.
So yeah, and doing those exercises then and the training obviously supports the things that they'll go do in their real life, the farming and the building. So
yeah, I think it's really cool that if you're getting PT or any kind of help over at the rehab gym, that you can go in there. You essentially have a membership.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So how long? What's the deal on memberships? What does something like this cost? Are there physical? I'm guessing that there's personal trainers.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yep. We've got 2 personal trainers on staff. This is one of them right
Yep.
here. So we keep it simple. We offer 2 membership types. You can either just be a gym member, where you use the gym facilities, or you can include the pool in that membership. So
That's
just
very smart marketing to keep it that simple.
keep
Seriously.
it simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for gym membership, it's $69 a month.
Yep.
If you want the pool, it's going to be an additional $40 on top of that.
Okay.
And the reason that we have those prices the way they are is because we include personal training in those memberships.
Oh.
So, right. When you're a member, we want you to have somebody to lean on. We want you to have a program that is going to help you meet your goals.
That you're following.
So
we don't want the people that walk in and they have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
Like, we're not just here to take your money and just say good luck.
Right.
We're going to help you put that program together.
Yep.
And you've probably seen a whole hell of a lot of that. People coming in. That's it. It's January 2nd. Time to stop fooling around. I'm going to start overlifting. I'm going to pull muscles and whatever. You've seen that.
We've seen it.
First of the
everything.
year phenomenon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So
Wow.
yeah, we're not going for volume necessarily. We're not trying to sell all these memberships that we want people to stagnate. We want to make sure that every single person who is a member is coming consistently. We want them to be comfortable. We want them to make sure that they know what they're doing when they're in the facility, and not just the thing that they've always felt comfortable with because it's the easiest thing.
Of course.
It doesn't make sense to pay the $69 a month to go walk on a treadmill. You could do that anywhere if that's all you're doing, because that's the only thing that anyone's ever showed you how to do. So we're going to teach you. We're going to expose you to new things. It's going to be safe. It's going to be fun. It's going to be effective.
And create a game plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of these folks, when they come in, if they're not taking advantage of the personal training, they know that it's a small enough place where you've got your eye on them, and you're saying, come on, Bob, pick it up a notch or whatever.
I can see you from my desk. So
Yes,
like,
of
if you're
course.
doing
Both of our
something
trainers,
crazy,
they're
Yeah.
right out there on the gym floor.
They're
so.
moving around.
and our physical therapists are in that same space. So So they're always keeping an eye. If I have my back turned, Sarah or Jackie are gonna nudge me and say like, hey, can you go help such and such with whatever they're doing. So
do you get people who I know that you do. You get some overweight folk that come through the door that say, I don't know, I just got to shed some weight. I don't know where to begin. What do I do?
Nobody does. It's a big undertaking, and I think
I got to get some
society,
exercise.
Yeah, right. As a society, we simplify it too much because there's a lot that goes into that. So we have a couple of programs, especially for those people. One of which Hendrik runs in the evenings. If you want to talk about.
What's your hours and all that too? Yeah, we got to do.
Yeah.
We're 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. We close at 7 Monday through Thursday, and we close at 6 on Friday, an hour early. And we are open 8 to noon on Saturdays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m., I have a class called Use It to Lose It. And so it's geared towards exactly those people that you're talking about that maybe have a little bit of weight to lose, that have absolutely no idea where to start, and we're going to take them through in a group setting, so you're with a lot of other people that are in the same shoes as you, and we're going to get you going. Like, we're going to start real easy, and we'll, over time, as you get acclimated, we'll make it a little bit more complicated. But we do exercise, we train, we do some resistance training, we fold nutrition and lifestyle factors into it. We have Stephanie, who works in our facility through Whole Health Nutrition. She's a registered dietitian, so she's there every Tuesday, and a lot of her services are covered under insurance. A lot of people don't even have to pay for it. She also helps me out with the Use It to Lose It class, where she's going to come in and talk diet and nutrition to people. It's a huge part that a lot of people are going to walk into a gym and say, I'm going to exercise the weight away, and 6 months later, they're kind of just floundering and nothing's really happened. So we definitely need to fold the nutrition and lifestyle factors into that as well. And so we have Stephanie, we have our coaches and trainers that are going to support you with that. So
what the hell's going on with this whole keto craze? I know that maybe this isn't your.
This sounds perfect. You can take this one and run with it.
You said no ranting.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a craze, man. There's a craze.
There's always something.
There's always the next thing.
Whatever you say is not right or wrong. I'm just wondering what your take is on it. My God. I mean, just get online and you'll see pro keto, anti keto.
You can find anything in any direction if you're just looking on that surface level of just people yelling at you online. But not a lot of people are doing the actual research to back any of that up. So yes, Stephanie and I have talked about it at length.
What does Stephanie say? What do you say?
It comes out of good research. It's used in hospital settings for very specific cases. That doesn't necessarily mean that it easily transfers over to the general population.
Okay.
A lot of people look at it like it has magical, mystical health properties that other ways of eating don't, and that's just untrue. So when people are successful on it, because that's the thing, is you'll talk to people and they're like, well, I did it and it worked.
Successful with weight loss, which is if that's what you're going for, then then you could count that as a success. And maybe other residual ailments, diabetes, whatever. There may be some residual,
which
success.
might come from the fact of being overweight. So if you take care of that, then a lot of other health comorbidities might kind of alleviate themselves as well. But it's definitely not the only way, and it's a tough thing to do. So that's
keto's tough.
Keto, that's what I'm talking about. Keto is a very tough thing to stick to, because are you never going to eat those things that you like ever again? Probably not. So there are better ways to eat where you can still have a lot of the things that you like in moderation. There's less stressful ways. So there is a small percentage of the population that just gravitate to something that's that strict, and you say, tell me the things to never eat again, and they might be successful with that.
Right.
And that's okay,
and they follow it like a religion.
Exactly. So, but you can fall into that little bit of the post hoc fallacy where somebody does keto, does lose a bunch of weight,
Right.
therefore that is the only way to do it, and that's not the case.
I had somebody yelling at me saying, "Your brain needs carbs. You got to have X amount of."
That would be Stephanie.
Grams of
Stephanie
carbs.
will yell at you. Your brain runs on carbs.
Your
You
brain
can't just
runs
have
on
zero
carbs.
carbs.
Yeah.
The same way that you can't have zero fat. So
Right.
again,
Yes,
it's
yes.
Moderation.
swung wildly in
Yeah.
both directions over the decades. Where for a while it was absolutely no fat, and then it was nothing but fat, absolutely no carbs, and it's all obviously nonsense. There's a middle ground where you can be happy, you can have all the things that you can have, and you can still maintain a healthy weight.
Right. Of course, portion control is a huge. I mean, we've heard those words in the last, I don't know, 5 or so years, so much more than it seems ever before. My girlfriend's from England, and she's, says to me all the time. She says, "Y'all in America have 2 problems. Number one, you put 3 times as much food on your plate that you need. None of you are patient, because if you eat the right size portion and you walk away and you let that food digest and do its part, you'll forget that you've realized that you're full."
Mm-hmm.
But we don't allow our bodies to say, "Hey, I'm full," because we're trying to get full very quickly. We wait too long. We space out meals.
Yeah, there are definitely,
and we overeat.
We do, yeah. There are other countries, I can't think of exactly what right off the top of my head, but where they teach kids from a very young age, eat until you're 80% full. So you have to be very mindful of how you feel while you're eating and what you're eating.
Very
and,
mindful.
But if you learn that as a kid,
For sure.
that carries you through adulthood, and you're a lot less
course.
likely to end up in that category
Sure.
of obesity.
Yeah. And the other
Goes
problem,
Japan.
Thank you.
the other problem,
Japanese proverb: eat until 80% full.
Perfect.
Between the two of us, we know everything.
That's why we had to come together.
the other thing is that she is always reminding me of is that here in the United States we have everything with high fructose corn syrup.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exist over there.
I don't think that's true.
Oh,
Here we go.
Sherilyn.
Yeah, I
You
I
think
don't,
they've got high fructose?
No, I'm positive they do. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I am German.
Oh,
I am a
boy,
German
here we go.
citizen, and I have gotten things in the mail from my grandma that has it in it as well. So,
Really?
Yeah, I think it's.
Well, she says everything over there is cane sugar, not high fructose.
It might be more, but it definitely exists. But I think you're right with the other point where it just is.
It's too much.
It's a more systemic problem than
It's abused.
You can never point to one thing and just say it's the corn syrup or it's the carbs
Of
or it's the
course.
fat. It's definitely that more systemic thing of like you were saying, like they're probably gonna stop eating when they're not quite full yet. So it's how they're brought up as children. So and obesity is not an American problem. It is a worldwide problem. So it's not like we're doing something horribly wrong in this country that just isn't being affected everywhere else. It's everywhere. So
Interesting. I would love to have your nutritionist come on, but
she's a registered dietitian.
a registered dietitian.
We always try to point that out. So a nutritionist doesn't have the master's degree, doesn't have the doesn't have quite as much of a
You have to pass a licensure exam to be a registered dietitian. You have to do clinical rotations.
Wow.
And I think it is state by state. We'd have to check with her, but I'm pretty sure in Vermont, in order to be a nutritionist,
Will she come
you
on
don't
the
need
show
to be
sometime?
licensed.
Yeah,
I bet she would. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she would love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody can call themselves a nutritionist.
Oh, I
Yep.
see. Yeah.
I could call myself a nutritionist right now and
Interesting.
dispense certain pieces of information that are within the scope of practice of a nutritionist. But a dietitian has done schooling and certifications far beyond that. Where they
But
can,
you guys give that counsel to your clients that come in and maybe kind of direct them on, the old food triangle seems to be still alive. I don't know if.
Well, I think, kind of like what he was saying before, our scope is really much more talking about
Overall lifestyle.
dispelling myths.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and, kind of that overall,
Sure.
like how do you moderate?
Mm-hmm.
What does moderation look like?
Yeah.
why would you not want to eliminate carbs completely from your diet? What's the negative to that?
Right.
We can talk to people about those things.
Sure.
Stephanie does specific dietary recommendations for individuals.
Right.
It's a lot more
She
detailed.
She can say, eat this, like write you a specific plan. If not that everybody that goes and sees her needs that much guidance. Some people do. Some people just need more general. And she also does weight loss, which is what we've kind of focused on here for quite a while. But she also does performance. So we have some of our runners maybe need special guidance when it comes to their nutrition to help them reach their performance goals. So it's not always just weight loss that she deals with. It's general health, it's performance, it's weight loss, it's all of the above.
Wow.
And we work very closely with her. So I'll refer people to her, and she'll say, okay, we've done this and this, and that kind of can inform how we might program too.
Right. Get their heart, and she'll tell you, get their heart going.
There you go. Should they get specific exercises from him, and then go to Stephanie and get their specific dietary recommendations, and set up for success.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then again, there's unfortunately sometimes completely unavoidable setbacks where then they might see Sarah or one of our physical therapists for the therapy. So again, like we talked about, it's not a perfectly linear upwards progression all the time. We really offer that spectrum where we're gonna meet you wherever you are, and we're gonna try as much as possible to push you towards the good end. And even if there's some setbacks, we're gonna try to keep you moving in the right direction.
Wow.
And that's the thing to remember too is, when you start challenging yourself to do more, you may come in and just do a gym membership and you're working with Hendrik and you're doing great.
Sure.
But there is some risk when you challenge yourself to do more, and you may encounter some sort of pain or barrier that you never noticed before because you never used those muscles as much.
Of course.
You never challenged it.
Yeah.
And then it's a very easy situation where very often we'll be seeing the same people.
Yep.
So they'll come to see me once a week. They'll work with him once a week, and we just kind of balance out where they are in terms of their physical therapy needs to get over that hurdle without losing too much ground in their training.
And you're not paying twice. So if somebody is a member and they need physical therapy in a facility that maybe only offers one or the other, you're probably going to keep your gym membership going, go see a physical therapist. That gym membership is stagnating. When you're at the rehab gym, we'll put your membership on hold. You're not going to keep paying that while you're using your insurance, if that's what you're doing, to do physical therapy. After physical therapy is over, you get a free month. Everybody does.
Wow.
And then once that free month is up, you can start paying your gym membership again, but you're not double paying. So that's kind of nice for people.
And
that's very.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Without interruption, so you're not. You're still getting the access between visits. You can still do your entire program as if you were still a member, because you are still a member. You're just not paying for it at that point.
Wow. Do you ever get? Do you ever get a client that leaves the doors? Thank you ever so much. I feel like $1 million. And a month later, oh my God, here they come again. They're walking back and they're limping. They're limping. They're on crutches. But I mean, do you ever see anybody re-injure something?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd love to convince and turn every single person all the way fully into somebody who trains and uses their body to their full potential, but
that's not the reality for a lot of people,
It happens.
We were talking about like the farmers, old farmers, they don't have time to come into town and train, in order to work on their farm. That's not realistic for them. But they're going to come back every time they have an issue because they know we get them back to what they need to do.
Yeah.
And we hear that,
Wow. We want to say, we want to encourage folks that may not be familiar with the rehab gym. Maybe you know the one in Williston, but if you don't know the one in Barre, to come in and check it out, whether you've got an injury or an old injury or no injury at all.
Yeah.
Come in and chat with these two and introduce yourself. They will show you around. They'll give you a tour. It's a great place, I can tell you, because I've been there myself quite a bit.
one more point to that too. If you have something that's bothering you, but you don't know if you need physical therapy or not, we do free screens.
Oh.
So you get 15, 20 minutes with one of our PTs. They'll sit down, they'll do a quick screen, talk to you about what's bothering you, and they can point you in the right direction, whether that's going back to your doctor, maybe doing a few PT sessions, or just signing up with a membership and working through it.
Wow. So you got some stiffness or whatever, come on in.
Yep.
Free is such a great word.
People like free.
Wow.
I like free.
Yeah, and then you can kind of design a plan for them, protocol to follow. Wow.
Yeah, and we've had people who, like, if you're on the fence and you're not sure, we will help you figure out what is, like, how to get to the goals that you have for yourself. And we have lots and lots of people who started with one goal, like she said, made small goals, met those goals, and just did that over and over again, and are now doing things that when they walked in had no idea was even possible. And we didn't set these huge, I mean, in the back of my head, I know, like, you're going to do some great stuff, stuff that you never knew was possible. They had no idea. But we're going to take them step by step. We're going to have these little small achievable goals, and we're going to take you really far. So yeah, we can tell you some crazy stories of people that have done unbelievable things that when they walked in for the first time, they really didn't think that they were going to be doing. So.
Can you share?
Oh, honestly, our senior population, I think, is a great place, and we might as well talk about some of the things you're doing with those folks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, again, it sounds scary off the bat, but these people all came in saying, well, I'm never going to do that. But again, our sense of community, when you're there for physical therapy and you're just looking around and being like, well, that person looks like me and they're doing crazy stuff, and that person looks like me, and, like, maybe it's not that crazy and maybe anybody can do it. So we have, I personally have, I'm very biased for barbell training. I think it's a really great way to do it. It's not the only way to get strong, but it's an extremely effective way to get strong. So we have women in their 70s who have been training for a year or two who are deadlifting in the hundreds of pounds. We have a 75-year-old who is deadlifting 210. We have a 74-year-old who is deadlifting 185, 190 on a regular basis. It's wild.
These women are inspiring, really, to others who walk in our doors, maybe aren't feeling great.
And they look just like everybody else, you know, like when you say that, you get this image of your head of like a bodybuilder or something. Like, you walking down the street, you would have no idea that that's something they're capable of. But their lives have improved. Like, they can walk better, their balance is better. You talked earlier about the atrophy, like sarcopenia in the older population is a huge problem. Like, you want to maintain that lean muscle mass for health purposes, bone density. So they've experienced these amazing benefits from resistance training. Almost nobody meets the requirements for just physical activity. The people that do oftentimes are only doing the cardiovascular, like we talked about. Like, it's easy to walk into a gym and just get on a treadmill or an elliptical, but the World Health Organization, like everybody that you go look for what should I be doing physically, or going to advocate at least 2 days of resistance training. And that's the stuff that's scary, and people don't know how to do it, and they don't even know where to start.
It's a learning curve. You need somebody to teach you.
And therefore, they're going to underdose. They're just not going to do enough. They're going to grab the tiniest little pink dumbbells and just never really get anywhere. And like I said, you spend enough time at the rehab gym, and you're going to see people that look exactly like you that are doing things that you didn't think were possible until we trick you into doing it. We're going to say, do this really easy version, and then, like, well, why don't you try this one? Like, oh, you can do that too. And then we're just going to keep adding weight. And then, and like I said, they're going to reap the benefits. So. We have in March, this past March, we had our first annual Rehab Gym Invitational Strength Meet. So we had 20 lifters. We had multiple people in their 70s. We had even more people than that, over 50. We did deadlifts, and it was incredible. The energy was just awesome. So we're going to do that every year in March. It's still invitational. So you got to be a member of the gym, or at least be a part of the Rehab Gym family to get an invite. But you can spectate.
Please come back on Aired Out.
we will.
leading up to that.
And that's all on YouTube, so you can go see it. Like, you don't have to trust me. Like, you can go watch these people, and yeah.
You talk about the sense of community. The Rehab Gym is now, you were just telling me before the show, now doing events like 5Ks and whatnot. You got something going on up at Millstone.
Yeah, very soon. It's the last weekend of July during the Heritage Festival. We have the Millstone 5K coming up. So we work with the Central Vermont Runners to put that on. We've been doing that for the past few years. So Jackie Jankaitis, one of our PTs, she's
Jackie's
also a
incredible.
runner. She is. She's amazing.
Hi, Jackie. I don't know if you remember me. Hi, Jackie.
So she is the one that kind of takes point for us and works with Central Vermont Runners to make that happen. And it's been very popular the past few years. Lots of people love spending time up in those trails. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah.
So you can come and run. You can come and walk.
It raises money for Spalding.
The Spalding
for their track and
team.
Field team.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's one of the cheaper 5Ks as well. You're not spending $25-30. I think you sign up now, it's like 5 or 10 even.
It's pretty inexpensive.
So what's the way to do that? A website, your Facebook page? How can folks learn more? See pictures of the facility, maybe.
Yeah, you can get there just by looking on the Heritage Festival webpage. There's a link there
to get registered.
I believe there is.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there is.
And
if not, there will be soon.
What about your own?
If you can email Jackie, go to the Rehab Gym's website, find Jackie's email, and if you can't find it, email her.
What is that? What's the Rehab Gym's website for Barre?
RehabGym.com is the company website, and then you can select Barre.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you guys are on Facebook.
We're on Facebook, yep. So we're Rehab Gym at Barre City Place on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We're RehabGym_Barre. Like I said, we're on YouTube. I've got tutorial videos. You can you can kind of like take a look into the gym, and like I said, you can see the whole. I cut it into it's less than an hour. The whole strength meet is up there with Jackie and I did commentary over the top of it. So on YouTube, we're Rehab Gym Barre. So yeah, you can go see. You can see all the things that we're talking about.
Wow. More on community. Let's talk about. We only have a few minutes left here, but the pool. You have group exercise.
Yes,
Now,
definitely.
is this a bunch of old ladies?
Not necessarily.
Sometimes.
But if you happen to be an old lady, we have a class for you.
Yes, yes, you do.
And
Yeah.
again,
Yes,
talking
you
about
do.
that spectrum, we've had people who started there because that's where they were comfortable, and then they've seen people do other things, and like, well, if that person and people become friends, and like, oh, my friend does this, like, I'll try the pool and the gym, or I'll try a pool and this class. So.
Right.
It's one of our most popular classes, really, the senior aquatic exercise class. And the way that class is structured, our other trainer, Naomi Capese, she runs that class, and she really takes her time with people and works them into doing exercises that we would normally want them to do on land.
Right.
But the introduction to it in the water,
Low impact.
it's a safe place. It's low impact. The heat from the heated pool, it's great for folks with arthritis. It makes it very comfortable to do.
So here's a question for someone my age or someone younger who wants to do that. How many different options of aquatic exercise do you have? Do you have the younger guys, or do you have the older? Can you join the older group if you want to?
So that one we do kind of reserve for our older folks because it is kind of tailored for them. But we have another class.
So you should be how old?
Over 60 for that.
Over 60 for that.
Yeah.
Good thing I can't join.
Got some time, huh?
All right, a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But what's the other one?
So we also have a drop-in class that's a lot less, formally structured. So it works for people of all ages, and that's on Wednesdays right now.
Okay.
Wednesdays at 9, and so you can jump in on that one at any time. You don't have to be a member. But if you are a member and you have that pool membership, it's free for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And the pool is open as long as the facility is open. So the hours that we mentioned earlier, the pool is never closed.
So where's the best place to find the Rehab Gym? Where's the best place to park? What's the best way, the fastest way to get there?
That's a great question.
Yes.
We have limited parking in the adjacent lot, and we really try and keep those spaces for our patients who have mobility issues.
Oh yeah.
So that they don't have to walk a long ways.
That's the parking lot that's accessible from Summer Street.
Off Merchant Street.
That runs.
Is there a sign at all so you know where to turn off of Summer Street?
It's off Merchant Street.
It's right off of Merchant Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got
Yep,
the
and
big
you can see it
Rehab
from
Gym
there.
sign there. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're coming down Main Street in Barre and you see the City Place where the old Positive Pie used to be,
Yeah.
you guys are on the same level behind.
Correct.
So out
Right.
back.
Yep. If you know where the big granite zipper is,
The big granite zipper.
park anywhere in
The
Barre.
world's largest zipper. Right?
The
Yes, it
world's
is
largest
the
zipper.
world's
Yeah.
largest, yes.
You walk right on down that sidewalk there, and we're on the back side of
Or
that
park
building.
over in Metro Way and just
Sure.
Yep.
quick walk.
Yep.
And one more time on your hours. 6 a.m. is when we open the doors.
Yep. Bright and early.
Not
You get a
me.
lot of crazies in there at 6 o'clock?
I've never been there. I have no idea. That's ridiculous.
We have a few steadfast 6 a.m. folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yep.
6 a.m. until 7 p.m.
Yep. Except for Fridays,
Fridays.
we
Except for
close at
Fridays.
6.
Close at 6. Okay. So Fridays at 6 to 6.
Yep.
Correct.
And then Saturdays 8 till noon.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. So
And those hours have kind of incrementally increased as we've grown over the past 5 years. I would love to see them increase more, as people start to recognize, where we are and our
Sure.
membership numbers increase, So when we need to be open more hours, we will be.
all right. Anything else we can think of? I mean, you got some notes there.
I just don't want to. It was the dates,
Yes.
We haven't mentioned
Yeah.
Sarah from Biomedics. She
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
We also have, so Sarah Thomas is from Biomedics. She's actually the owner of Biomedics, and she is also in our facility 1 day a week. So she does prosthetics and orthotics.
Really?
And this is a lot more on the side with physical therapy than
Yeah.
with the gym, what we see. And so it's great for us to have her in-house, if there's any custom, orthotic needs, especially that's what we send people to her for a lot.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And we recently started doing pushback.
Yep.
So if you have Parkinson's, pushback is a program that's been developed specifically to get people with Parkinson's exercising safely and as effectively and evidence-based as possible. So,
Wow.
Designed
again,
by
it's-
the the Vermont chapter of the American Physical Therapy Association.
So again, we're trying to break down as many barriers where people, like I've heard you say a couple of times, well, I can't do it because this, I can't do it because of that. Like, we could on one hand out of probably everything in the world say like, okay, well, you can't do it because of this, and I don't know that I've ever actually met somebody like that. So like if you have Parkinson's, like there's things that you can do and we can show you what they are. If you have arthritis in both wrists, there's things you can do and we'll show you what they are.
Yeah. We have people who've maintained gym memberships who are, wheelchair bound or have other, impairments that
Wow.
The pool has a chairlift.
it does. Yep.
Oh,
We can get
yes.
somebody in a wheelchair into the pool. So, yeah.
And exercise is great for everybody.
Yeah.
Wherever you're starting from.
Sure.
There was a Time magazine article recently that said that if exercise could be condensed down to pill form, it would be the most financially lucrative pill that has ever been created. So the effects of exercise cannot be understated. So
As long as you stay in the game and stay consistent and don't give up.
Yep. And not letting perfect be the enemy of good. Like starting somewhere. Like walk in. Like we'll show you something. It doesn't have to be perfect on day one. So
Small
again,
goals.
The people that are
small
doing remarkable things with us didn't
Yeah.
think that they were going to ever be doing that. We showed them little things to begin with, and then they just never stopped. So
Right. I have learned so much from you guys in such a short period of time. I hope
we're
you
going to check back and see if you
please.
join.
No, please do, and I hope you guys come back. I thank you so much. One of the greatest things that I heard today was that I can eat that Ritz cracker tonight.
Don't even feel guilty.
Really?
Everything in moderation.
The problem is that's part of it because you eat one Ritz cracker and the next thing you know, you get the peanut butter going too.
Oh boy.
But That's so much fun to chat with you guys. I really enjoyed it. I thank you so much. Rehab Gym in Williston and in Barre and Colchester. Just get on RehabGym.com. Is that it?
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
It's that simple. If you stop in to the Barre location, it's pretty much a sure bet that you're going to run into one of these two here, Hendrik and Sarah. Two of the best that they have over at the Rehab Gym. They're going to take very good care of you. If you have any doctor's orders for physical therapy pre-surgery or post-surgery, be brave enough to walk through the door and chat with these folks. They've been there. They've done that. They're going to get you onto a road that, as Hendrik said, you may not have realized that you could have traveled down. Great people right here. Thanks to our presenting sponsor, Fontaine Forestry and Millworks. Yeah, they do it. They do it. It doesn't matter what you have over there. If you got a big project, a small project, custom cut, they've got it all. Planed, rough cut, tongue and groove, shiplap. They're great people. The whole family over there. Mark, the miser master, will do you right. We love them. Fontaine Forestry and Millworks are on Route 14, just down from Bragg Farm. Peak Entertainment, Donnybrook Fight Promotions, FGB Theaters. Yesterday is coming. We're going to be there broadcasting live once again. We were just out there for Rocket Man. Can't wait for it. FGBtheaters.com. CBDCrave.com. You always see their products right here on the table. Quench the Crave, yes. Chris Dagnese and company will do you well. And CW Print and Design in Barre, CWPrintDesign.com. Right there, right next to the Lenny's outlet. Main Street, Barre, 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. Saturdays, 9 to 5. Of course, as always, thanks to Tony Campos and Abubakar here at CVTV, Central Vermont Television. I'm J.D. Green, and this is Aired Out. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night.